Welcome to NTD News Today. Here are today's top stories. Tax relief is coming next year. The CEO of the IRS promises that most middle-class families will see big savings. An explosion at a nursing home near Philadelphia leaves at least 2 dead and injures 20 others. Look at what could be the cause of the deadly incident. 53 billion gallons of lava and still flowing. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano records another 1,000-foot eruption as the state celebrates its 1-year eruption anniversary. It's Christmas Eve and the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or Norad, will once again be tracking Santa this year. Shen Performing Arts is going on tour celebrating its 20th anniversary. Hear what theatregoers say about the cultural phenomenon.
This is NTD News Today, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Today is Wednesday, December 24th. I'm Victoria White. U.S.Weekly jobless claims fell unexpectedly last week, signaling continued low layoffs, but the number of people staying on unemployment benefits rose, pointing to weak hiring. Initial claims dropped by 10,000, below economists' expectations, though seasonal factors may have influenced the data. Meanwhile, continuing claims increased to nearly 1.92 million, suggesting unemployed workers are taking longer to find jobs. Economists describe the labour market as a no hire, no fire, with the unemployment rate remaining elevated amid sluggish hiring. But the overall economy remains resilient, with gross domestic product increasing at its fastest pace in 2 years in the third quarter. And some good news for taxpayers heading into the new year. The CEO of the IRS says most middle-class Americans will see tax relief next year. Here's Frank Bisignano speaking on Fox Business.
You're going to look at probably 94% plus of middle-class Americans getting a boost. You'll look at tax rates coming down and getting the benefit going forward. You see all our Social Security recipients getting up to a $6,000 benefit, as he committed to the benefits of Social Security not being taxed.
Bisignano is also the Commissioner for the Social Security Administration. He says the refunds will be the biggest ever and credited President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. He added that the Trump savings accounts will begin taking contributions on July 4th, 2026. The IRS CEO's comments came after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and White House Economic Advisor Kevin Hassett both projected significant refunds in the 2026 tax year. The president himself also saying last week that many American families could save between $11,000 to $20,000 a year. The Trump administration is placing visa bans on 5 European figures, including a former European Union commissioner. This comes amid concerns they are pressuring U.S. tech platforms to censor Americans' free speech. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the decision yesterday. Those targeted include Thierry Breton, the European Commissioner for the Internal Market from 2019 to 2024. He was also a key architect of the bloc's digital rulebook. 4 executives of NGOs were also targeted. The bans come amid US opposition to the EU's Digital Services Act. It's a landmark law that European officials say is meant to combat hate speech, misinformation and disinformation. The US and other critics say it stifles free speech and imposes costs on American tech companies. Rubio said the individuals targeted have led organized efforts to coerce American platforms to censor, demonetize, and suppress Americans' viewpoints they oppose. The EU, France, and Germany have condemned the US visa bans. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, recently named U.S. Special Envoy to Greenland, explains his approach to the Danish territory. Here he is speaking on Fox News Channel's The Will Cain Show.
I think our discussion should be with the actual people in Greenland, the Greenlanders. What are they looking for? What opportunities have they not gotten? Why haven't they gotten the protection that they actually deserve? Look, the United States has always been a welcoming party. We don't go in there trying to conquer anybody, trying to, take over anybody's country. We say, listen, we represent liberty. We represent economic strength. We represent protection.
President Trump appointed Landry on Sunday as special envoy. This comes as Trump stresses the importance of Greenland for U.S. national security. The president points to risks posed by Chinese and Russian ships in the region and said the U.S. needs to have Greenland. Landry has said he will pursue the president's goal of annexing Greenland. The Arctic territory belongs to Denmark but is largely self-governed. It's also home to large deposits of rare earth materials. Both Denmark and Greenland oppose the idea of a potential U.S. takeover, and they have criticized Trump for appointing Landry as special envoy. The Department of Homeland Security says the process for H-1B work visas is being revised to favor highly skilled and higher paid workers. NTD correspondent Jason Blair reports.
The Trump administration has started updating the selection process for the H-1B work visa, prioritizing, quote, higher skilled and higher paid aliens to better protect the wages, working conditions, and job opportunities for American workers. The new rule will replace the random lottery system. In an announcement, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services says the existing random selection process of H-1B registrations was exploited and abused by U.S. employers who were primarily seeking to import foreign workers at lower wages than they would pay American workers. The announcement says there will be a limit of 65,000 H-1B visas a year, and there will be an additional 20,000 for applicants who hold an advanced degree from a U.S. university. The new change goes into effect at the end of February. And Immigrations and Customs Enforcement says that in a 14-day operation, it arrested 1,030 criminal illegal aliens under the Laken Riley Act. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says in honor of Laken Riley, ICE launched Operation Angel's Honor in the last 2 weeks alone, arresting more than 1,000 criminal illegal aliens under the authority of the Laken Riley Act. President Trump has empowered us to arrest and remove the millions of violent criminal illegal aliens unleashed on the United States by the previous administration. President Trump signed the Laken Riley Act into law in January. It's named in honor of Laken Hope Riley, a nursing student from Georgia. Riley was murdered by a Venezuelan illegal immigrant in February of 2024. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Jason Blair, NTD News.
And a court ruled yesterday that President Trump has the legal authority to raise the fee for H-1B visas to $100,000. Before the change, the fee was between $2,000 and $5,000, depending on the size of the employer. In a proclamation explaining the fee increase, Trump said the H-1B system suppresses wages and puts American workers at a disadvantage. A tragedy in eastern Pennsylvania. An explosion in a nursing home near Philadelphia claimed at least 2 lives and injured 20 others. The explosion yesterday collapsed part of the building, sent fire shooting out, and left people trapped inside. Here are the details.
I was asleep and the whole house shook. It was crazy. I could not believe that.
A fire and explosion erupted in the Bristol Health and Rehab Center near Philadelphia Tuesday afternoon. At least 2 deaths are confirmed. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says firefighters, rescue crews, and bystanders were helping get the nursing home residents to safety.
I want to say that in the immediate moments after the explosion, you saw what real heroism is all about.
Authorities in Bristol Township are investigating a possible gas leak as the cause.
Within approximately 15 to 30 seconds of us exiting the building, knowing there was a heavy odor of natural gas, around us, there was another explosion and fire. We kept the fire in check without giving up the source. The fire actually helped us identify where the leak was coming from in the basement, and we just prevented it from spreading into other parts of the building.
I'm hurt. This is my neighborhood, so like I feel like they are my family. It sucks, and it's right near Christmas time too.
I would just ask all Pennsylvanians to join Lori and I in prayer for this community, for those who are injured, and for those families who are about to celebrate Christmas with an empty chair at their table.
Now to Southern California, where powerful winter storms are threatening holiday plans. Millions in California are expected to hit the road for Christmas, but are likely to meet hazardous travel conditions. Officials are warning residents about potentially deadly flash flooding and mudslides and to reconsider their holiday travel plans.
Staying off the roads whenever possible keeps you safe and frees up the lanes for our first responders and public work crews.
If you're planning to be out on the roads during the Christmas holiday, please reconsider your plans. By the time we get to late Wednesday through Friday, many areas will likely be experiencing significant flooding along with rock slides and mudslides.
Most areas saw scattered showers yesterday, with the system expected to intensify today. Local and state officials are gearing up to respond to emergencies through the week. The state has also deployed resources and first responders to a number of counties along the coast and in Southern California, with the California National Guard on standby to assist. NTD's Christina Corona tells us more.
A major winter storm fueled by an atmospheric river is set to hit Southern California, bringing heavy rain and powerful winds just days after deadly flooding struck Northern California. Officials provided an update on the dangerous holiday storm Tuesday.
Beginning today through Thursday, an atmospheric river is expected to deliver up to 10 inches of rain across Los Angeles County, making it one of the wettest Christmases in recent history.
The Weather Prediction Center has issued a rare level 4 out of 4 high risk for flooding across parts of Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Ventura, and Santa Barbara counties, impacting nearly 6 million people. The National Weather Service warns widespread flooding, rock slides, and debris flows are likely. Officials urge anyone traveling on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day to use extreme caution. Los Angeles County has issued evacuation orders and warnings for hundreds of properties near recent burn scars, with deputies going door to door. Those orders went into effect at 11 a.m. local time Tuesday.
Currently, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has a total of 124 evacuation orders in place.
Ventura and Santa Barbara counties have also issued evacuation warnings, including mandatory orders for some coastal and burn scar areas.
Storms can bring sudden and severe conditions that may make staying behind extremely risky. If you are told to evacuate, you have an order in place, you are putting your risk and your family's risk or your lives at risk.
Rainfall rates could exceed 1 inch per hour in the mountains of Los Angeles and Santa Barbara counties, enough to trigger flash flooding and life-threatening debris flows. Recent burn scars, including the Eaton and Palisades fire zones, are especially vulnerable, where scorched ground can quickly turn rain into rushing mud and debris.
Strong winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour. The heaviest rain is expected tonight through tomorrow morning and again on Christmas Day.
A flood watch will be in effect from Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday evening.
We have activated key emergency resources, including search and rescue teams and Air Rescue 5 helicopter, which is equipped to deploy swift water rescue capabilities if needed.
Officials urge residents to avoid flooded roadways, stay away from drainage channels, and act before conditions become dangerous. Christina Corona, NTD News.
Hawaii's Kilauea volcano hit its one-year eruption milestone yesterday, with busts of lava reaching over 1,000 feet. The current eruption started on December 23, 2024. It has since produced more than 53 billion gallons of lava in the past year. As it reached its one-year eruption anniversary, episode 39 brought a 1,400-foot fountain just shy of the record. Each episode has varied dramatically. Episode 20 lasted about 4 hours, while episode 3 went on for 8 days. And episode 35 had the highest fountain so far, about 1,500 feet, which is about the height of the Empire State Building. And coming up, the Supreme Court delivers a setback to the Trump administration, a ruling on the deployment of the National Guard to Illinois, undercutting the administration's arguments on presidential authority. The Supreme Court has delivered a setback to the Trump administration. A new ruling denies a request to deploy National Guard troops to the Chicago area. NTD's Arlene Richards has the story.
A majority of Supreme Court justices on Tuesday denied President Trump's bid to deploy more than 300 members of the National Guard to the Chicago area. Trump had federalized National Guard troops in Illinois to enforce federal immigration laws. The Justice Department argued that due to significant resistance and violence against immigration enforcement efforts, it was necessary to bring guardsmen into active federal service. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker argued that there was no public safety need that required the deployment. 6 justices sided with Pritzker and a lower court's order to bar the deployment. The district court judge, April Perry, said the administration's reports about the events in Illinois were unreliable. The Supreme Court's majority reasoned that the law requires the president to first call in the U.S. military to execute the laws of the United States. And before he can do that, he must get approval from Congress. If the regular military is unable to perform their duties, then with the proper authority, the president can deploy National Guardsmen. They stated that the law the administration relied on for the deployment would not allow the military to execute federal law in Illinois. Justices Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch wrote dissenting opinions. Arlene Richards, NTD News.
The Pentagon announced yesterday that about 350 Louisiana National Guard troops are set for deployment throughout the state as part of an effort to curb crime. The Pentagon said Secretary of War Pete Hegseth authorized the troop activation on Monday. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry supports the deployment. Here he is on Fox News.
Look, we know how to make cities safe, and the National Guard complements cities that are having high crime problems. Look at what the president's done in Washington, D.C. When he wanted to send the National Guard into Washington, D.C., Louisiana was one of the first to raise his hand and say, our troops will go there and help you. And the city is so much better. They're going to be here in New Orleans. It's going to help us further crack down on the violence here in the city of New Orleans and elsewhere around Louisiana.
In a post on X, Landry said his state's National Guard members will help ensure safety during the busiest season in New Orleans. He added, "We owe them all a debt of gratitude for their commitment to our state and nation." The Trump administration has directed numerous National Guard deployments in high-crime inner cities around the country. A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration's attempt to move Homeland Security funding away from so-called sanctuary states. Earlier this year, 12 attorneys general sued the administration after learning their states would receive reduced federal grants. The cuts were tied to their failure to cooperate with certain federal immigration efforts. In a 48-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Mary McClory McElroy, found the government's funding decisions wrongly took into consideration the state's stances on immigration enforcement. She said some of the funding supported counter-terrorism programming. The judge said the $1 billion federal program would be vital in responding to tragedies such as the recent Brown University attack, where a gunman killed 2 students and injured 9 others. In a statement, DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said the department plans on fighting the order. Meanwhile, the attorneys general who sued the administration applauded the ruling. A federal judge has dismissed the Trump administration's challenge to New York's green light law. The ruling allows the state to continue issuing driver's licenses without proof of legal U.S. residency. The U.S. District Judge Ann Nadachi ruled the Trump administration failed to support its claim that the state law unlawfully regulates or discriminates against the federal government. The Justice Department sued the state of New York over the law back in February, naming Governor Kathy Hochul and New York Attorney General Letitia James as the defendants. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi accused the two of prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens. Judge Nadachi wrote, though, that her job was not to evaluate the law as a policy matter, but whether it violates the precedent that federal law has over the state. The green light law was enacted partly to improve public safety on the roads, making it easier for people without a standard driver's license to get auto insurance. Under the law, people who don't have a valid social security number can submit alternative forms of ID, including passports and foreign driver's licenses. The 2025 Kennedy Center Honors Ceremony, which was hosted by President Trump earlier this month, was released last night on the CBS and Paramount+ streaming services. This marks the first time in the event's 50-year history that any current or former president has been the master of ceremonies. This year, the ceremony honored actor Sylvester Stallone for his role in the Rocky and Rambo series, Gloria Gaynor for her song I Will Survive, the rock band Kilss, country music singer George Strait, and actor Michael Crawford. In a post on Truth Social, Trump described the individuals selected as true greats in the history of entertainment. He also joked about considering a full-time career change on making hosting a full-time job. Trump was chosen to host a show by the Kennedy Center's board, which was also responsible for choosing this year's honorees. A plan by the struggling U.S. Postal Service to raise cash could cost the agency its biggest customer, Amazon. USPS has a partnership with the online retail giant to deliver some orders to Amazon customers. The contract reportedly brings in about $6 billion a year, which the agency can't afford to lose. But now the post office plans to accept bids from other shippers for access to the service's distribution centers. That's surprising news to Amazon. An Amazon spokesperson says the uncertainty might push the company to stop using USPS as much, and that Amazon is evaluating all its options. And coming up, a continued push for peace in the Russia-Ukraine war. Moscow is now considering new U.S. proposals to end the war. Multiple avenues and multiple nations are trying to reach a peace deal in the Russia-Ukraine war. The Kremlin confirmed that Russia's President Vladimir Putin has been briefed about U.S. proposals for a possible peace deal. This is through contacts with President Trump's envoys. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told reporters Ukraine and the U.S. inched closer to finalizing a 20-point plan, but could not find common ground on demands over Donbass. Moscow said it would decide on its position on the proposals. At the same time, France's President Emmanuel Macron said he spoke with NATO chief Mark Rutte to discuss the situation in Ukraine. Macron wrote on X that starting in January in Paris, there would be continued work on a framework to provide Ukraine with solid security guarantees and lasting peace. 3 people were killed by a bomb today in Moscow. The explosion occurred at the same site where a senior general was killed 2 days ago by a car bomb. Russian investigators said when 2 police officers approached a man who was acting strangely, they were killed by an explosive device. They added that a 3rd person was also killed, but did not specify who that was. Unofficial Russian Telegram news channels said the bomber was one of those killed and that he detonated the bomb when approached by officers. NTD could not confirm those details. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelensky says the United States and Ukraine have reached a consensus on several key issues aimed at bringing an end to the Russia-Ukraine war. But Zelensky said territorial control in Ukraine's eastern region and the management of a nuclear power plant remain unresolved. A response is expected from Russia today. Libya's army chief was killed in a plane crash while returning home from an official visit to Turkey yesterday. Libya's prime minister also identified 4 other Libyans killed in the crash. The aircraft sent out an emergency landing notification about 50 miles southwest of Ankara, but contact with the aircraft could not be re-established. The head of Turkey's communication directorate said the private jet had requested an emergency landing because of an electrical failure. The aircraft's voice recorder and black box were found this morning. An investigation has been launched into the crash. A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck Taiwan today. The quake shook buildings in the capital, Taipei. Officials say it had a depth of more than 7 miles. The National Fire Agency said there were not immediate reports of damage across Taiwan. Chip-making giant TSMC, which has factories across the island, was hardly impacted. The company said the quake did not reach the required level for evacuation. India's space agency successfully launched its heaviest satellite into orbit from Indian soil, a major achievement. It is called the Bluebird Block 2 communication satellite. The Indian Space Research Organisation has been put into low Earth orbit. According to an agency official, this is the heaviest satellite ever lifted from Indian soil using an Indian launcher. The satellite is designed to provide space-based cellular broadband directly to standard smartphones. And coming up with Christmas just a day away, celebrities are reflecting on their favourite holiday memories and moments. The holiday season is upon us, and that means the much-anticipated Shen Performing Arts World Tour is returning. This year's first US performance will be in California's Silicon Valley. NTD is a proud media sponsor of Shen. NTD's David Lamb reports.
Each year, people in cities around the world await the arrival of Shen Performing Arts. This year marks the company's 20th anniversary. The first performance in North America will be right here in San Jose, California. Here are some examples of what theatergoers have said about the experience.
The whole show is really incredible, the way, and the timing. I'm always amazed by the timing, because it's like you're seeing a movie plus live dancers at the same time, and the synchronization between the two is just perfection.
I sing, so I especially resonated with the vocalist and the song, and especially the lyrics. It touched me, touched my heart, felt true to me. So a lot of what was expressed through the lyrics.
Shen is a sumptuous feast of just all senses. for the soul, the spirit, the eyes, to consume, the ears. And it's just a beautiful way of humanity, giving, loving others, and using all of your talents.
Shen Yun was founded in New York. Its mission, reviving traditional, divinely inspired Chinese culture, showcasing China before communism.
The elegance, the humans, and just the narrative also comes through. It doesn't matter if you don't speak the language or if there's nothing even being spoken. You can understand just through the motion and expression.
Just the mastery, the professionalism, their bodies, it's just really, it's amazing. It's just amazing to behold. And also it's like a multimedia where you see, it's just incredible to me how these dancers suddenly become part of the movie in the background.
Theatergoers have said they leave with a profound feeling.
You know, ultimately, it's that beautiful message that there's something within each of us, which is divine, which is higher than what we're seeing and doing each day. And the dancers just bring that out in a beautiful way, with also heart and humanity and humor as well.
I always feel uplifted by seeing those parts of the performance. Yeah, I'm very uplifted by the whole show. And that's why I come back, because it just makes me feel good.
For the North American tour, performances began on Christmas Eve in San Jose, California, followed by performances after Christmas in Houston, Texas, Waterbury, Connecticut, and Jacksonville, Florida. NTD News.
It's Christmas Eve, and the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, will once again be tracking Santa Claus as he travels around the world, bringing gifts to kids across the globe. What started 70 years ago as a mistaken phone call from a child to the former Continental Air Defense Command is now a beloved holiday tradition for families everywhere.
So 70 years ago, a young child accidentally dialed the predecessor of NORAD, which is the Continental Air Defense Command, and the colonel who answered the phone heard a child asking him, "Where's Santa Claus?" And the colonel realized, well, we track everything over North America, and so we absolutely can see where Santa Claus is. We normally just track threats, but he looked up where Santa was and reported it to the child, and then our tradition was born.
NORAD began tracking Santa this morning, and Old St. Nick has travelled south from the North Pole and is currently making his way across to the Middle East. Children can call 877 High NORAD to talk directly to a Santa tracker who will tell them Santa's exact current location. More than 1,000 volunteers will be staffing NORAD's Santa Operations Center until midnight Mountain Time tonight to answer the hundreds of thousands of phone calls that come in from around the world. There's also a chance you could catch President Trump on the line as he's set to take part in the Santa phone call later tonight. New York knows how to celebrate good things, especially at this time of year. And nowhere is clearer than that than at Herald Square, just a few short steps from here. NTD's Stephania Cox took a jaunt to explore. Let's join her.
The Macy's Holiday Windows, an invitation to rediscover wonder, hope, and childlike joy. For more than a century, Macy's has transformed its Broadway facade into a moving storybook. Each window a scene of celebration. What began in 1874 as one of the first major store window displays has evolved into a beloved art form of motion, music, and imagination. All of these displays are in chronological order, celebrating various aspects of things that Macy's has started as Christmas traditions throughout the years. And here we have the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which actually started as a Christmas parade, and it began with just the employees of Macy's.
It's absolutely beautiful, stunning. It's really great.
What's your favorite one?
I think I like the parade one the best so far.
It's a classic, right?
Yeah, it really is.
What I really enjoy is the creativity, the colors, and the movements. You know, there's like the black and white work, and then there's so many colors, and it's so festive and bright.
I'm loving it. It's
Are
great.
you here for this?
Yeah, I'm here for this. Yeah, just for this. Yeah, that's what I came here for.
This year's theme, brought to life by a team of artists, carpenters, and designers, took nearly a year to create. The mechanical figures, tiny cityscapes, and shimmering snow make each window a world of its own. Just a few floors up, Macy's Santaland continues another cherished story, the chance to meet the man in red himself. Since 1948, generations of New Yorkers have made the journey to tell Santa their wishes amid snow-capped trees, toy trains, and endless smiles.
Merry Christmas!
More than 250,000 visitors pass through Santaland each season, keeping alive a bit of holiday magic that never seems to fade. Just outside, the holiday market hums with its own spirit. Warm lights and the scent of cinnamon drift through the air as vendors share their crafts, treats, and traditions. I'm here at Bell Fries, which has some very intriguing recipes on display. I see fries with caviar, and that's your central piece, it looks like. Tell me about some of the other things you got going on.
Yeah, so this is our full menu. Our main item is our Belgian fries, and our name is Bell Fries because fries originated in Belgium and not France. So we're renaming French fries to Bell Fries.
Did you start this business?
Yes, I did.
And what's the mission behind it?
To serve the best fries to everyone in America. They're thicker cut, twice fried, paired with artisanal sauces, traditionally served in paper cones, the way we serve them here. Both super delicious. We make them all in-house every day, our own recipes. So yeah, go ahead.
Let's begin. Can't wait. Oh my gosh. Which one? Okay, honey mustard. So good. So good. Wow, it's really getting packed here. Okay. Chocolate covered strawberries. Pretty good. Something for everybody. Really quite a long line, I've got to say, for a cold night.
It's an hour-long wait for the cookies, but it's a whole bucket for $45 or $40, something like that, and it's delicious. I've had it already, and this is my second time. Yeah.
So what makes them unique?
They're very soft, and I don't know, they're just like delicious. I'm not usually a chocolate chip cookie fan, but I love these, so I really recommend it.
Have you seen anything else in the market so far?
Yes, I've loved the hot chocolate. There's a bunch of flavors, and the lobster roll fries are really delicious too.
And just a few paces from Macy's is New York City's first ever double-decker carousel, featuring a few unusual animals, ostriches, dragons, hummingbirds, to name a few. Moments like these, simple and bright, bring warmth to chilly nights and stitch the season's magic into lasting memories. Did you notice the carousel over there?
Yes.
That's where we were headed.
We were trying to force our parents, but they said the line is too long.
The line is so long. In the city that never sleeps, Christmas never really ends. It just glows brighter each year. Whether through the sparkle of Macy's windows, a ride on a carousel, or a wish whispered to Santa, New York reminds us that joy still lives right here in the heart of winter. From Herald Square to homes everywhere, Merry Christmas from New York.
In the lead up to the holiday season, celebrities have been reflecting on their favourite Christmas time memories and moments. For many, Santa Claus and the wonder felt as children at Christmas came up top. Some celebrities also looked back fondly on the special presents brought by their parents, or making Christmas special for the little ones in the family themselves. Whether marked with minor disasters or quiet time with loved ones, family was in the mind of many A-listers.
You know what? We have very simple Christmases in my family, and I just love them. I love the atmosphere. It's very homely and cozy, and we all look after each other, and we cook for each other, and it's It's just lovely.
You know, it was Christmas carols on the radio. I was going to church in the morning. It was very, very traditional. Turkey, you know, whatever you picture Christmas to look like in a traditional sense, that was ours. And now I'm building those new traditions around my own young family. So.
I would tear through. My sister would really take her time with each gift and appreciate it, and I was just a rummager, dude. But yeah, with my cousins growing up, we would have Christmas morning at the house and drive up to my other grandma's house, and we'd all get to hang out, which was a lot of fun.
Getting to spend Christmas with my family and my grandparents. Those are memories that I look back on fondly, and I cherish those moments.
The first memory, it's not actually my favorite. The first one that came to mind was being woken up by Santa in a tent. Yeah, delivering stockings. Confusing.
I did the Santa thing with my kids until my youngest looked at me one day and was like, "Mom, I know you're Santa." And I was like, "Oh no!" I mean, I used to do the thing with the footprints and the cookies and eat the cookies and the note and say thank you Santa and leave footprints, and I was a maniac.
When we were really small, I'm one of 7 children. The night before Christmas, before you went to bed, you turn out all the lights and look out the window and search for Santa's elves. And I'm telling you, when you'd see someone dart from bush to bush with jingle bells, we just screamed. It was like exhilarating. And then as you get older, you go, oh, that was my older brother and my older sister. And then you inherited that duty. Once you didn't believe in Santa, I told my younger brothers, fake believing in Santa as long as you can, because the minute you admit there's not a Santa, you go from getting toys to getting socks.
My dad dressed up as Santa one year, and I didn't know. So I had a memory for many years of meeting Santa.
Probably from when my kids were little, you know. That's when they believe.
I do remember my little 5-year-old daughter opening a Christmas present and going, "What the hell is it?" And then she stopped, she looked at me and I looked at her. She goes, "Well, what the hell is it?" 5 years old.
I was a kid and there were 4 of us and 4 in my family, and we ran down the stairs and there were 4 bicycles in front of the Christmas tree, and that was huge. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money. It was a huge expense, and we had all wanted bicycles. It was just one of those magic Christmas things that my parents made happen.
You know, I'm the youngest of 9, and we didn't have very much, but my parents always made sure that there was something special for everybody. So that first year that I got my bicycle was a big deal. Even though I told everybody I knew how to ride, I didn't know how to ride. They got me on the bike, it kind of started pushing me, and I was pedaling and going and down a hill, but I didn't know how to stop until I crashed into a neighbor's chimney and, you know, almost destroyed the bike and almost killed myself.
I don't know if it's a good one, but I remember like ice skating at my friend's pond and falling into the water, thinking, oh, it's so great, Christmas and exciting, and these people have a pond, and that's a bad memory.
When the family pet, as in our situation, was left in the dining room while we all went to open presents, and the Christmas ham was quickly claimed by our dog, our Dalmatian.
I think when it used to snow, I feel like I was little and we would go sledging on kind of bin lids, trash lids. Yeah.
I would say sledding with my siblings when we lived in Utah.
A lot of Christmas is sledding with my family, I would say. But yeah, just spending time with the family.
Holidays for me are like shorts and flip-flops because I go back to Australia. But it doesn't make it any less special.
Well, for me, it's waking up and going to the beach in Australia because it's a hot day and it's the middle of summer. So that for me is my core memory.
Normally I'm in Australia and it's kind of a hot Christmas, and some days when it was real hot we'd go to the cinemas and watch movies. Probably also my favourite thing is to make pavlova on Christmas Day. So I make pavlova from scratch. It's excellent.
a holiday memory, New York City, the year that I got Law and Order, and getting to go to Rockefeller Center, and just being a part of Manhattan at that time. It's always really magical.
I love New York at Christmas time, so I love walking around New York. Not on a Saturday, but there's something special about, like London right now. I mean, it's like, walking around, seeing all the Christmas lights and everything in the windows, and people rushing around shopping. There's something and then tucking in and getting a good meal.
I was probably 8 or 9, and my parents brought me and my sister to a place called Great Wolf Lodge on Christmas morning, because we'd always wanted to go to Disney World. Those old Facebook videos of people surprising their kids with a Disney trip. We never got to Disney, but they did compromise with Great Wolf Lodge, which was so fun at that age. I love that place.
And every year I get everyone the matching pajamas. And, it's just us all getting together and taking our picture in the pajamas, and the fact that everybody looks forward to getting their pajamas on Christmas Eve.
My mother and father weren't together, so I have different memories with my mom and different memories with my dad. But yeah, like everybody, I have quite a few of them, and I cherish them.
I think all the childhood ones, just the sort of the thing of it getting cold, that thing of school ending, and just that final countdown to Christmas. Love it.
On Black Friday, the Friday after, is when we decorate the house and the Christmas trees. And it's something that I always look forward to, of bringing in that holiday season.
Putting the decorations on the tree, I loved all the excitement, the preparation, the next morning coming down and seeing what Father Christmas has bought. I do. There's something really special about the whole tradition.
I love decorating the tree. I've always loved decorating the tree. I don't know why. My mom was very particular about trees, and she had really good taste. So we had different ones. We had aluminum trees. We had white flocked trees. We had pink bulbs and turquoise bulbs. Now we have in our family bulbs that I have had since I was 16 years old, that Tom has had since he was a child. So all of those bulbs end up on the tree, things that our kids have made, things from first grade where, they're little angels, or it's just tradition.
There's traditions, of course, that we have, and so we get a tree together. This year we're breaking tradition because I'm not home to go out, so my son is in charge of the Christmas tree this year. He's 17, I think he's got really good aesthetic, so I think we're going to have a good tree.
Oh, I don't have one, man. They're all good, or it can get rough too. When they're good, they're good.
What I really do love about the season is back home in Germany is the Christmas markets. They're just magical. They're just so joyous and calm and peaceful, and with all the lights, with the good food, with the mulled wine. And it's like an entryway into Christmas season.
In Mexico we have this thing called posadas, and once the 12th of December passes, from then till early January, it's just parties every day. Just parties, complete parties. So it's, yeah.
And we'll cover more news right after this break.
It's Steph and Carrie from NTD. Good morning.
And on behalf of our entire NTD family, we want to wish you a very happy holidays.
And a joyous new year.